And we are back. Here I am, Fly Navarro, and today I'm being joined by Mr. Captain Randy Towe. Randy, how are you today?
I'm great, Fly Man. It's really great to see you on the Zoom here and talk about the good old days and the good old days we're living right now.
Listen, I'm so glad you added that second part. I have a friend of mine. We've been friends since we were in fourth grade. And I'm like, cool video. He goes, yeah, that was the good old days. I go, you know what? In 20 years, these are going to be the good old days. So shut the fuck up and just enjoy what we're doing, man.
There's so much to that. Who would have thought as kids in Fort Lauderdale our lives would have went the way they did? And looking back at guys like you who I knew 50 years ago, you
Damn,
know,
that
kind of
hurts
live
right here.
vicariously through your travels and the stuff that you did, and it's just you're kind of friends, but you're distant, but you're always friends, and here we are.
Yeah. That's the great part of this industry is the fact that we never say goodbye.
Exactly.
Check you later, man. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah, exactly. It's just might be a month, might be a year, but pick up where you left off.
yeah, that's the one thing about this industry that people don't realize is it's a fraternity. It doesn't matter where you go in the world, we're always together. The best way I like to describe it is we're kind of like a floating circus, a carnival. And we're a bunch of fucking idiots floating around everywhere, having a good time. And
We are
um,
having that. That's for
oh,
sure. We are the envy of so many.
I hear it a lot. Oh, I'm living my life vicariously through you, and I'm like, well, as much as I appreciate that, I don't show the pictures of me sleeping on the floor in an airport.
Right?
Trust me, you only see the good shit.
Yeah.
You're not watching the uh, sitting in an airport for 8 hours, falling asleep with your feet up on your roller bag so nobody walks away with it. I'm getting ready next at the end of this month, but actually, by the time this comes out, I would have already gone over there. I'm going to the Middle East. And
Wow.
yeah, well, I go over there normally 3, 4 times a year, but as we know, it's gotten a little crazy over there, and I would normally just avoid it altogether right now, but my business partner's son's getting married,
Oh, wow.
and I wouldn't miss it for the world. He's 27 years old, just became an orthopedic surgeon.
Wow.
And to this day, he's still, all four of his sons, they all call me Uncle Fly. So,
Right.
Uncle Fly, will you come to my wedding? I'm like, bro, I wouldn't miss it for the world, you know? So,
No, that's any
yeah.
fishing over there?
Oh yeah, well that's why I don't go over there just for fucking shits and giggles, man.
Right?
Back in 19, we helped put on the first ever international fishing tournament in the history of the kingdom. And
Wow.
since then, we've been working on building um, the first ever fishing club in Saudi Arabia.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Well, they got the
yes.
money, right?
Well, you can have all the money in the world, but if you don't have the fishing, it doesn't do you any good. So they have fishing. They have actually really good fishing. And so when you're watching the news, or if you're trying to avoid the news, Saudi Arabia, very similar to the United States, has two coasts, has an East Coast and a West Coast.
Sure.
East Coast is on the Persian Gulf, and on the West Coast is the Red Sea. And all the work that I'm doing is on the Red Sea, and that water is crystal clear,
Wow.
just like it is in the Bahamas. Persian Gulf is clear as well, but it's not as pristine as the Red Sea. The Red Sea is just absolutely beautiful.
Wow. It's interesting to some of those places like that can be the most beautiful, and then you hear some of those faraway places are fished out and they don't have much, and
It's
it's a big world.
Listen, when I first started going over there, only a handful of boats were, first of all, there's still only a handful of boats fishing. Where
Yeah.
it's not like you go out there and you see 50 boats. You can go out there and run 100 miles and you may see one artisanal fisherman.
Wow. How would they
So
get a boat down there?
they build them. They build them over in the UAE. My business partner has the parent company is Silvercat, and they ended up building the Gulf Cat, and
Oh wow.
it's a 35-foot catamaran with twin 350 Yamahas on it, and great fishing platform,
I'll bet.
phenomenal. So there's quite a few boats over there, and I've seen some Hatterases and Vikings in the Red Sea. Now, I've fished Fujairah, which is all over the news right now because Fujairah is just south of the Straits of Hormuz.
Right.
So, somebody, I'll never forget, somebody's like, "You go fishing anywhere?" I go, "Wherever I get an invite to go." I mean,
Right.
it's not like I just show up and say, "Come on, let's go fishing," or I trailer my boat across the world. People call me up. They're like, "Hey, let's go fishing."
Yeah.
So, um, I was fishing a tournament out of Fujairah, and so when we were talking, and Fujairah is one of the Emirates, part of the UAE, and it is just north of Oman, and it's right there on that little tip where everybody's arguing right now about traffic going in and out. And somebody asked me, "Yeah, I fished there," and I said, "Hold on." And I showed him a picture, and I was being circled by Iranian gunship. They were doing
Oh my
circles
gosh.
around it. Yeah.
Well, got to
And
keep it exciting. That's for sure.
listen, it's either the women in South Florida or it's an Iranian gunship. I feel safer in the streets of Hormuz.
Exactly. Holy cow. The other thing too, and I've started doing it, we're at a stage in our life where I'm not turning down an invitation to go anywhere.
I don't turn down invitations.
Yeah.
I
There was a
don't
time
turn
we were
down.
all busy, traveling, doing stuff, and you had to say no to a lot of things, but I've definitely expanded, my travels lately because of that.
I when I was still working full time on the real tight, I couldn't get away.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
now, if somebody invites me to go, I'm like, give me a time frame, and
Right.
yeah, and tell me the airport code.
Right.
I mean, I'm constantly looking at flights. Even if I'm not going, I want to know the travel pattern on when to get there. And
Sure.
sometimes the most expensive part is jumping over the pond, whether it's the Atlantic or the Pacific. So
Right.
what I try to do is, okay, if I get invited to go fish in one spot, I'll go base out of, like, let's say I get invited to Saudi Arabia, but at the same time somebody invited me to go to Kenya or the Seychelles. Well, I'll just fly to Doha and I'll base out of Doha, and I'll just, I'll buy a ticket to Doha, and then go to Saudi for a week, and then I come back to Doha, then I'll go to Kenya, and I'll fly back, and then I'll go to the Seychelles and fly back. Because those little flights they're cheap. The
Sure.
expensive one is getting to
Yeah.
Doha.
That makes a lot of sense. Well,
I've done that plenty of times. Shit, there was one time I based out of Doha and I went to Saudi, I went to Dubai, and then I went to Morocco. Not Morocco. Oh my gosh. It's right there next to France. What's Monte Carlo? It's the that little itty bitty country in between France and Monaco. I went to
right.
Monaco. They had a tagging tournament there, and I flew over there. So I literally bounced around this whole area for 3 weeks, bouncing back and forth, going fishing. Go to Dubai, go to Saudi, go to Monaco, and it's like, okay, let's go home.
So is all of that billfish, blue marlin related? I
No,
mean,
no, 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 no. So
okay.
Saudi Arabia and Dubai and Fujairah, all that is billfish, but Monaco was bluefin tuna.
Oh
Here,
wow. Yeah.
here's the funny thing that people listen. Everybody knows that I made my living chasing blue marlin. I put on blue marlin tournaments, but my company is a company that promotes fishing, and not everybody can go blue marlin fishing.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't give a flying rat's ass what you fish for. I just want you to get off your lazy ass and go outside, hang out with your friends, and go fishing.
Right. Isn't that what it's all about? And that it's
Exactly.
harder to do.
That's what I try to do. I mean, here in the
Yeah.
United States, just to give you some numbers, not like I study data or anything, but
I'm sure
uh,
you.
we have 66 million fishermen in the United States.
Wow. Sounds
300
like a
and
lot.
300, what's that?
Sounds like a lot.
It is a lot. It's a lot in overall, but it's not a lot in percentage.
Yeah.
But of that, 340,000 go bill fishing. So
Interesting.
we're not even 1%.
Yeah.
We're not even 1/10 of a percent.
Wow.
So and I watch so many companies. They go after, oh my God, they're $10 million boats, they're $15 million boats. Let's go after them. That's great and all. That's not a problem. But you want to go after the biggest market possible,
Sure.
and you don't want to pigeonhole yourself. I don't want to pigeonhole myself. So what I do is I go after all of them.
Yeah.
I tell everybody I would give up $1,000 per marlin fisherman if you gave me a quarter for every bass fisherman.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And does any of those foreign places, do they have any kind of freshwater fishing or inshore?
Look, one of my best friends in Japan that speaks no English. That's how
Right.
good of friends we are. He speaks
Yeah.
no fucking
I have a
English.
couple of those.
And they put on a tournament in Lake Biwa where the world record largemouth bass was caught, 22
In Japan.
pounds in Japan. That's where the world record largemouth bass was caught.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So they've got
Somebody
a
just
lot.
told me there were rainbow trout in Costa Rica.
That doesn't surprise me. I didn't know, but that doesn't surprise me. Listen, I caught rainbow trout in Argentina.
Yeah.
I went to Patagonia a few years back, and we're catching rainbows and cutthroats and brown trouts, and it was great, man. I went
Hmm.
down there for 10 days fly fishing. Oh, after so many years sitting on the back of the boat listening to diesel engines,
They're right.
go sit on a river and all you hear is water.
Oh yeah. It's pretty soothing for sure.
Oh my gosh, it's phenomenal. It's
Well,
so relaxing.
yeah, that's
I absolutely love it.
certainly the draw, especially with the guys, if you think about it, in the rivers and the mountains when they're fishing those streams and they're catching 8-inch trout and they're happy as can be. It's not the fishing. I mean, it's where you are and what you're
It's
doing that is just, worth everything.
it's the peacefulness.
Yeah.
It's I don't want to be sitting behind this fucking computer every day. I want to be out there.
Right.
I don't want to say it's unfortunate because it's not unfortunate. It's just I've put myself in a position that I have to be behind the computer a little bit more now because of my projects I have going on. And that's one of the reasons I restarted the podcast because when I'm home, I get to spend at least 2 hours every day catching up with my friends. Instead of flying 8 hours to hang out on a dock somewhere, I
Right.
can jump on here. I can talk fishing bullshit. I can share it with the world.
Oh, this
Um,
is this is awesome. I mean, the World Cup, that I love following that and seeing what you've done with that. What an exciting tournament, and you're kind of
it's
up to
so
date
cool.
on what's going on, who's got what, and again, technology's really allowed us to stay in the game and root for our teams, and it's
That's
part of the excitement.
exactly. That's what makes it fun. I remember the first year I took over. This is my 12th year running it. Holy fuck.
Wow.
It's like, man, life is like a roll of toilet paper. The closer you get to the end, the faster it goes.
Oh, yep.
I remember Antigua Sean had boated that fish in Madeira, and they ended up winning. It was like 964, give or take.
Right.
And Mike Leach, he was there with me, and the whole Hardy family was there. And uh, Mike's like, man, I wish we knew what lure they caught it on, because if it was a Black Bart, we can give a shout out to Black Bart.
There you
So,
go.
so I shot uh, I shot Antigua Sean a text message, and I'm like, "Hey, what'd you catch it on?" And 30 seconds later, I get a picture, the whole 9 yards. I
Oh,
go, "They caught it on a polo car here," and he's
that's
like,
awesome.
"How did you do that?" And I'm like, "That's the technology we have now." So
Yeah.
now,
Yeah.
literally, I sit there with two phones and my laptop, and I just talk to everybody. And really,
Sure.
this is the time of year that I absolutely love because um, I get to talk to every fucking blue marlin fisherman in the world.
Right. Well,
I'm
it's that.
literally, it's the time of year that I'm doing it.
Yeah. Well, you just did one in Chubb, right?
Yeah, I just got home last night.
Yeah.
I just got home last night, and it's funny because that, like I said, I open up my inbox to make sure that there's no fires coming across. And
Right.
one of the things that just came out, somebody's asking me um, for the press release, and literally 1 minute later, the press release went out.
Wow.
So yeah, it's just yeah, it's everything is this fast, and
Right.
I don't even know if we were recording it when you were talking about um, technology. I'm not that technological. I'm
Right.
really not. It's just uh, I use the tools that are in front of me. And if
Right.
you can use a bottom machine, if you can change the gain on a bottom machine, you can do what I
I,
do.
that's a pretty funny analogy, really, because I know guys that can't operate the GPS.
Well,
But they're probably a whiz on the computer. It's
yeah.
sometimes your skill level is harder for the simple stuff. But
Well, it's here's the thing. Being human, and everybody likes to think we're somebody special. We're nobody special. We just have
no,
opposing thumbs. All right, we're no different than fucking deer or a chimpanzee or anything. We like doing the things that we are used to. We
yeah,
do not want to get out of our comfort zone.
absolutely,
And if we don't know how to do something, we don't want to take the time to learn it.
yeah,
So sometimes you just got to force yourself a little bit to learn because it's not that hard.
yeah,
It's not like my girlfriend, she's like, "How the fuck do you do all this stuff?" Or, I'm doing something on my phone and she's like, "How do you do all that stuff?" I'm like, "Listen, you're a fucking doctor. You're dealing with ultrasounds and
right,
x-ray machines and all this other, you're spinning blood. I don't know how to do that shit.
right,
No. Now, I'm sure if you showed me, I probably don't want to do it, but again, it's just getting out of your comfort zone a little bit
right,
and trying it. It's man, you know what? I'm going to give you a for instance. So, again, growing up in South Florida, we kite fished. But luckily for me, I, speaking Spanish, I got snapped up and got sent to South America so fucking fast. So I was in Costa Rica and Panama, and Mexico, and Venezuela. Fuck, I lived in Venezuela for 4 years. Then I went to work for Eddie and Jim Lambert on the Real Tight. They're running fucking two kites and six baits and two flat lines, and there was shit going on everywhere. And I was like, oh my God, I don't know how the fuck I'm going to handle all this. Growing up, when I first started traveling, it was like running one kite, you know, and people were just starting to play with two kites. Well, by the time I came back from Venezuela, dude, this kite thing was dialed in, and I just wasn't comfortable with it. But after 6 months, by doing it, you got comfortable, you know? Uh-oh, you lost audio. I'm gonna pause it for a second. All right, we had some technical issues. We got it back on. It's all good. Where did I lose you?
Well, you came back and you went to work for Eddie kite fishing.
I was
We're
so
all spun up.
I would yeah, well I wasn't used to fishing two kites and it
Sure.
took me like 6 months to get used to it.
Right.
It's like anything else. And what the problem is, most people don't want to feel uncomfortable for 6 months.
Yeah.
You
No.
know, most
Well,
people just want to keep
especially,
doing the same thing over and over again.
yeah. I mean, you went to the kind of the top of the food chain, really, with those guys. I mean,
Ki- kind
they,
of.
they were gonna fish. They were hardcore. You know, Eddie had been spending so much time doing that already. I mean,
I know.
I could hear him now. You know, in the mornings at Bahia Mar when I worked on A Dock, he had a boat there back then called the Bootlegger, and every morning, you know, it was a charter boat slash corporate boat.
Yeah.
So he was going to be the guy. Well, I'm going to Palm Beach. I'm going to the Breakers. I'm going to San Remo, and you know, we're lucky to get to the Whistle Buoy, you know, with enough time for a half day to catch a couple. So it
Oh,
was he was certainly dialed in, you know.
yeah,
Right.
no. And then with somebody like Jim Lambert,
Well,
that
he's got the time and money that wants to go do it. Like,
and
let's go to.
and the passion.
Yeah,
You can have all the time, you can have all
yeah.
the money, but if you don't have the passion, you're only going to fish 2 days a week. He had
Oh
the
yeah,
passion. He wants to fish 8 days a week.
yeah.
You
And
know?
unfortunately, there's not a lot of those guys left. You-
Here's the thing. You say that, but if you give it time, like right now, we're going through, and it seems like it's slowing down a little bit. I don't know if he's really slowed down, but you see Gray Ingram, who's 80 years old, and he's doing it. Um, you there was never that many. Here's the only thing is now with social media, as opposed to you only get one fishing magazine a week. And then
right,
you have the
right.
fucking coconut telegraph where when somebody called you back, now social media is inundated with everybody fishing. So it's
Yeah,
really hard to see those Gray Ingrams, those Jim Lamberts, because there's so much of it out there. If you
right.
pay attention, you'll see it. Uh, there's just so many of them right now. I
Yeah,
think it's just the opposite. There's more because there's
yeah.
more people that own boats. There's more people that are doing it. Now, Jim was very unique. And when you talk about going to the top of the food chain, Uh, one of the things that to this day I still say it. For 14 years, I worked for the New York Yankees of fishing,
Right.
and that's the way I
Yeah.
truly
Oh
feel
yeah.
like it. We were the
Absolutely.
New York Yankees,
Yeah.
and I to this day, half this shit that I'm doing now, it's thanks to that because um, I'm on a chat now where everybody's asking me, "Hey, this guy told me this and this guy told me that. Should I believe?" And I'm like, "Listen, guys, I truly appreciate you trusting me, but this is the giant but. The only reason I'm able to answer these questions is not because who I am, but how much time I fucking spent on the water.
Absolutely. That's what a lot of people kind
Don't
of fail to
understand.
realize. Thousands and thousands of hours, and do anything 1,000 times. You should get pretty good,
Yeah, you better fucking get good at it. Listen,
right?
after a thousand, and I think, let's be a little bit more specific. They say once you hit 10,000 hours, you're a professional.
Oh,
And I think that's what the number is. Well,
okay.
uh, I know for a fact, when we repowered the boat the first time, it was 14,000 hours. It was
Wow.
14 the first time we repowered the real tight.
Right.
And, so we did a lot of hours and a lot of testing and nothing can replace that. There's no magic button for an answer.
Yeah.
It's just going out there and doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it. And
Yeah.
then when you think you got it, go do it some more,
Oh yeah. Every
you
now
know?
and then I get the guy, he charters me. I want to catch a tarpon on fly. And I go, great. Have you ever done it? No, I've never caught one, but I fly fished all my life.
Oh, dear
And I
Lord.
go, well, okay. You're 40 years old. Do you go once a week, a year for 40 years? Or do you like fish 40 days a year? Well, you know, the point is they didn't fish very much, although they've been fishing for 40 years. So usually, you know, I suggest after a few days, you know, the bowling tour is looking for some guys like you. Maybe bowling could be your thing
Oh my God.
because this fly fishing ain't working for you.
Listen, it's hard, man.
It is hard,
It's fucking hard.
and again, it's like anything. If I would tell them, get a rod, practice before you come, because if you come for a week and you haven't done it all year, you're not even getting close to ready by
No.
Wednesday. And then we got Thursday, Friday, and the wind blows 20 knots, and you can't cast because you haven't cast all year, and it's tough. These guys that take it serious, just like the offshore guys, they come down here for 40, 50 days a year in tarpon season, and then they fish the tarpon tournament. I mean, things have changed in the competition down here in those things because these guys, like you say, they have put the time in because they want to understand how to feed them, how to fight them. And,
You,
sometimes you don't get many shots, and you get two or three shots, you got to catch them.
yeah, I know when Jimmy's son Tristan Lambert wanted to learn how to blue marlin fish. I asked Jimmy, hey, do you mind if I coach him? He's like, no, go knock yourself out. Well, one of the things I would make him do every day, which he fucking hated, I would
Of
make
course.
him, I would make him lower the rod, catch the rods for me, and put him. I would lower him from the bridge because we'd keep the rods on the bridge at night, and I would pass the rods down to him, and then at the end of the day, I'd make him pass them up to me. And part of that was I want him to feel what it's like to grab the rod because if not, what do you get? One bite a day? Some days you get three bites. So are you going to touch the rod only three times
Right,
in one day? No, but if you get all of the rods and you pass them up to me, you start learning how to hold it and carry it and move it. And part of being a deckhand, when you see a deckhand moving with the rod, and it's like, wow, you make it look so effortlessly. And
right,
it's because we touch the fucking thing 100 times in a day.
right.
It has nothing to do. If you touch it 100 times in a day and you're fishing 250 days in a year, you better know how to fucking hold that rod.
Yeah, well, the same thing holds true when you see somebody pick up a rod and the way they hold it. A lot of times I can tell right away what I'm dealing with because, they've kind of got it off to the side. They got their hand in a weird place. Guys that do it all the time, it's comfortable looking in their hand. They're
Yeah.
smooth. They're not fumbling. Every now and then they got it upside down, turning the handle backwards, and we just go home.
It's funny because the most difficult time I have with a rod and reel, and still it's not that difficult, is when I'm dealing with a 130 and I got a bluefin on when we go to Nova Scotia.
Well, well, you're
Because
40 pounds of drag, aren't you? At
well,
least
yeah,
with the
well,
thing
here's the
peeling
thing.
off.
When I move the rod, I lower it to 15. But still, when it's in a rod pocket,
Oh yeah,
when it's in the rod holder and you're trying to pop it out, that's the most inconvenient time. Uh I start walking that rod and I just hold it with one hand. Once I pop it out, and they're like, "How the fuck do you hold it with just one hand?"
that
I'm
thing.
like, well, it's heavy, but here's the thing, with 15 pounds of drag, and if you're just pointing it right at it, it's not that hard.
Yeah,
But
it's not bowed over.
yeah, it's not bowed over. There's no pressure on it. You just kind of fucking point the rod at it and uh until you get somebody in the chair, and then it's like, okay, you get them all situated, and
Oh,
once they're
here we go.
situated, now you pump them up to 40 pounds and let
Right.
them get smacked upside the head with it.
Uh, I caught one of those a couple of years ago, and what really got me was the crackling
Of
of
the
the line with
Oh my
50, 60 pounds of drag going off the reel like you hooked a car on 95 because it just three
It's
quarters of a spool the first run, and the noise of the line is what I remember.
it's like, uh.
Oh,
You're good.
yeah.
You're good. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, you
That's
don't hear that on Wicked Tuna. You see it, but they don't show that part of it. How it's violent with the line.
it is violent. It is violent. When you hook a Volkswagen Bug, it's It's
Yeah.
violent. Now, here's the
Yeah.
other thing that I love the fact uh I had what's their faces? Stacy and Amy Spencer, Paul Spencer's daughter, on the podcast the other day. And I love making fun of Wicked Tuna because I see Cliff on there all the time. And they'll interview Cliff. If I don't catch this tuna, I'm not going to be able to feed my family. I'm like,
Right.
listen here, motherfucker. I
Right.
know you're going to be able to feed your family. Your father, fuck, your mother isn't going to let you go without feeding your family,
Right.
man. So
Yeah.
you'll pay the mortgage. You're good.
It's all for TV.
It's all for TV.
Yeah.
It's all for TV. That's why I'm like, hey man, you're taking away from the true story of us fishermen.
Yeah.
I get it, but tell the fucking story, man.
Right.
Tell
Well,
the fucking story.
just like, you were talking earlier about, being in the airport, sleeping in your car, all of those things. Where's that part in the video of what it took to make the thing? You see
Yeah.
30 minutes of glory, but you don't see, 5 days of agony going through all this stuff. And bloopers, I always thought that
Oh,
would be really the best part of a fishing show, is to see what you actually go through to make that happen.
how many times we fuck up because we all fuck up, you
All the
know?
time.
We
And
can't.
and you got to get it. You got to figure it out. I mean, you got to make it
Yeah.
right. You got to make it look good. You do it again, try it again. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot to it.
There is. And listen, you talk about being on the real type. And this is a quote. This is a quote from Debbie Lambert. She was raised by a pack of wolves. And I know that because when we sat on the back of the boat with the old man, it was like a pack of fucking wolves. If you fucked up, you're gonna hear about it.
Oh yeah.
You're gonna get a razzing. But, and this is the giant but, if you did too good of a job, you're gonna get a fucking razzing too, man. Yeah.
uh,
What do you think you are? Some kind of fucking professional or something?
I think I would take the upper end.
I would. Listen, uh, it came either way. I remember during the old BBC days, uh, if Jim needed a fourth to go play golf, he'd invite me. I don't play
Oh,
golf.
nice.
I'm not a golfer, but I'd go play. Listen, anything to do to hang out with boss, I would fucking do it.
Exactly.
I just like to hang out with Jim. He's fucking hilarious. Man,
Right.
I start slicing the ball. He goes, how the fuck can somebody as smart as you be so fucking stupid?
I can see him saying that. Let me tell you something. Hitting that golf ball
Is
is
not
not easy.
easy.
No.
No, it is not easy.
Yeah. I
I
see
just,
that yesterday the Masters was on, and this guy's driving this thing down the fairway with people that look like, they were right next to him. I mean, how he didn't spin one off to the right, line drive, take somebody out, is beyond me. I
I
mean,
would tell everybody, part like the Red Sea, man.
absolutely. Yeah. A couple of 100 yards for me.
Yeah, get the fuck out of my
They go
way.
straight.
Yeah, no thank you, man. I'm
Mhm.
not I'm not that good. I used to go buy a bucket of balls at the driving range,
Yeah.
and as long as I came back with some, I won. That was my goal.
Not all of them.
If I buy 100 balls, because I ain't gonna go look for it. Now, it'd
You're
be
right.
different if I see it just roll into the bushes. If I
Right.
see it go into the bushes, I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
fuck
with you.
that. Yeah, I'm not a golfer. I'm a fisherman.
Yeah.
My job is to catch fish.
I'm with you.
So Randy, let's talk a little bit about fishing down in the Keys. You're living down in the Keys now, correct?
Been here since 1981.
Motherfucker.
So when I left Lauderdale, you remember ADOC,
Yep.
and there was a boat there called the It's Okay. Oz Keggy owned the boat. So Ozzy introduced me to flats fishing in Biscayne Bay. And one morning we had a half day trip, got in early, and he said, "You know what? The tide's going to be right. Let's get the skiff and go to Biscayne Bay, Soldier Key, tailing bonefish." And I thought, man, that sounds really cool. So we went down there. Sure enough, we get to the flat. I caught my first bonefish. And, it's like everything. You see something super cool, different, and those things were like a bat out of hell when you would hook them. I mean, they would take all your line and fight really hard, shallow water. So I kind of got hooked. I thought that was really cool. So he's had enough of Fort Lauderdale. He was moving to the Keys, and he said, "Look, if you want to come with me, I'm going to put the boat at Bud and Mary's. You got a place to stay." He was charging me $250 a month to rent his house, and I had a job. So it was kind of funny looking back on it now. But there were times back then where I said, "Ozzy, we got to work something out on this 250 this month. Things are
Yeah.
slow." But I opened up a little rod shop, and I made friends pretty quick because everybody had broken stuff. So I was able to fix things and meet people and realize that, the business that I really wanted to go after was guiding, being your own boss, having your own boat, doing all that. And that's what I did. I bought my first flats boat for $5,000, boat, motor, and trailer, and got my license and started guiding. And I always did the offshore stuff. In the beginning, I spent a lot of time in the Bahamas still doing the BBCs and traveling and stuff like that. But I just kept at it. Then later on in the 90s, I got an offshore boat, got a CB, and I was doing both. And, just kind of never looked back. Won a bunch of tournaments, both offshore and inshore. And, kind of was making my way, as a guide and the stuff I was doing. I always had a little rod shop where I would, make rods and do stuff. So that was always my fallback because you weren't going to fish every day. And, I wasn't fortunate enough to have a wife with a steady job and benefits. So I had to keep going because that was a prerequisite for a fishing guide in the
Yeah.
Keys. They all had a wife that worked at the hospital or the post office or something, and they had their benefits. So I did that for a long time. And in the mid 90s, I went to work for the Store family running a private boat for them. We got one of the first 43 Vikings that came out, and then we got one of the first 55s that came out. So I did that with them for about 12 years. And, they were getting up there in age and their health was getting bad. So about 2002 is when I had this brainiac idea to build a walk around boat.
I was wondering when I was going to segue into it. I'm
Uh,
glad you brought it up.
so one of the first guys I talked to about it was Roy. I went in, sat down with Roy, and I said, "Roy, man, I got an idea. This is going to be the boat that takes over the world. Everybody's going to want one of these things. They're going to be super cool." He says, "Let me see." I go, "Well, I don't have any. I don't have any pictures or drawings. It's in my head." So Roy looks at me and he goes, "You might want to stick to fishing." So, it's like anything. It won't go away. Like now, I'm thinking about it. I'm trying to sketch out a few things, and it really eating at me and eating at me. Well, at the time, I could see that Peter and Jenny and that was going to go by the wayside because of their health and everything else. So I was going to have the time in my life to do something different that I thought, my game plan was to make the prototype, get intellectual property on the design, license that intellectual property to boat builders. Not being a boat builder, I mean, yes, I know how to do fiberglass, but this was a really big undertaking. But I felt like I could pull it off because, again, this is burning a hole in my head thinking about it all the time. So finally, I went to Key West and I met with Claude Torres, and he built the Torres boat in Key West, which is really popular with the lobster guys. Wide, flat bottom, 43 feet long. Well, he was one of the only ones that would build me a hull. I didn't have the means to build the hull, so he built the hull for me, and I towed it to my house up in Islamorada and spent 13 months with one helper and a carpenter, and we basically cold molded the entire boat, literally at my house. made one-off molds, did everything out of Corcel and vinyl ester and all of that stuff. So that boat came together in 2002. I had a design copyright protection on it in 2003 and had my application for the patent as well. So about 2004, it was finished where I could use it and start fishing. No interior for the most part, but I was able to now get out there and show people and do things. Started doing that, started to get some interest, actually fished the Lauderdale Billfish tournament. One of the last years it was still around. And just had, things were looking good. Had a few people interested, was talking to some of the boat builders if they would be interested. And the funny thing is, now when I would talk to them, they'd say, well, where's your plans and your blueprints? Oh no, I don't have any of that. I have better yet, I have the boat, I have the prototype. And they all wanted plans and they wanted, details to, put in the computer.
How most people build shit.
Right. But again, being an entrepreneur and having, ideas where most people, they never follow through. It never turns into anything.
I say the part of most people have plans. I don't say that in a bad way because most people spend so much time planning and they never execute.
Right.
You just executed. You just didn't have any plans.
No. And the crazy part is, out of all the parts we made for the boat, I'm talking the sole deck, the walk around, the cap, the bridge, the house, the console, everything. There was only one part that didn't fit out of that whole project. And look, it was just the right time. I had the carpenter that was skilled. His name was Tom Yarborough, and he was a master carpenter. I happened to catch him at a time where he didn't have much to do. He thought it would be a cool project. We got together. My mate at the time, Robert Morrison, AKA Skinny, he was willing to be the helper and mix glue and whatever we needed. And it just worked. And we got it done. And unfortunately, as we all know, 2008 came and 2009. Now the world's coming to an end. Everything's crashing and burning. Just things are going away. And I was kind of caught up in that as well, where I had all this money out for this project, hoping I would get a deal or start building them. And I had a couple of guys that were interested in having one built, but couldn't get it done. And I met Bernard Paulhus, which we all know owns the Skipjack to this day. And, you meet people, you don't know what they're capable of or how it's going to work, how you're going to get along, and so on. And we've been friends now almost 20 years, 18 years. He bought the boat. We made a deal. He got the boat. He took over everything. I started fishing with him a little bit, built him a set of rods for the boat. And really the rest is history.
He still has the boat.
Oh, let me tell you, not only does he have the boat, but he has made that boat like pristine, perfect in every way.
He loves that boat.
Beautiful. And I look at the pictures because I have pictures in my shop of the boat and him and I fishing together and the stories, the history together, the tournaments we've won, him with the boat, his passion about what that boat is and what it does could not have gone to a better person.
Yeah.
And he loves driving it. I drove it for so long and he was an angler. And it got to a point where he says, I want to drive this boat. This is a cool boat. I want to drive it. So now he's the captain. He loves driving it. And that's his thing. He doesn't want to wind in a fish. He just loves being up there in the tower, blue marlin fishing, sail fishing, whatever it might be. That is his happy place. And he has a release 55 that's getting pretty close to done.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. So Release Boatworks came up with this idea about 4 years ago that they were going to make a 55. So I reached out to them and wanted some clarity because I get a little sensitive on people wanting to build that boat and try to tell me it was their idea. And, they just dreamed this up one day. And I go, well, you saw Bernard's boat somewhere. You just don't, this just doesn't pop in your head.
Yeah.
25 years later, you've seen it somewhere. Most people build express boats. That's what you commonly see are express boats. Jim Smith, beautiful express boat. Even John Bayless built an express boat.
Yeah.
I mean, they're gorgeous, but they're an express, and an express being all of your driving stations are inside your salon area. You lose all that interior space and you lose all that room. So the fly bridge, having that upper station to drive and to do all your stuff in up there, leaving the inside open, this is going to be super cool. And the boat's projected to go like 40 knots with twin MTUs in it.
Wow.
So it's going to be pretty exciting. Hopefully it's going to happen this year. He's going to get the boat. They've been kind of tough on finishing because it's a new project. Really, they haven't come out with one, actually that's finished and out there. And Bernard is looking forward to showing it, fishing it.
What's he going to do with the skipjack?
Oh, that's staying in the family.
I was going to say, I don't see him letting that thing go, man.
No, I don't think it's going anywhere. And he's talked about maybe putting it somewhere, put it in Costa Rica or something along those lines. I don't know. It's such a great South Florida boat.
Oh,
and Bahamas.
Actually, it'd be great for Costa Rica as well.
Yeah, but it's not. You got to fly down there. You got to have a place to stay. There's a lot of logistics.
Come on, nowadays flying is so easy.
Oh, I know, but if you're with it, at home, like here, he's got it in his backyard.
Yeah, no, that part, yeah. But listen, he's also getting to the time in his life that he can start, hey, you take care of this. Not saying that he will.
I don't know. He's a young guy. He's got a lot of life ahead of him, in doing stuff. And
I'm not saying that he's old. I'm saying he's getting to the point in his life that he can put people in there in the spots to be able to do the work and he can handle it.
Yeah, absolutely. But he's still very much involved. And, it's interesting. His son, Jack, when he was growing up, when I met him, he was the kid that destroyed everything. He would mess the tackle box up. He would fish on the dock and leave the tackle box open. It would rain. Hooks would be rusted out. We'd go fishing, no leaders, no hooks. And, just being a kid. And now, today, he's turned into a number one captain. I mean, the stuff he's doing, catching fish, winning tournaments.
I have a lot of respect for him.
Yeah,
I had to make a decision a couple of years ago as a director, and listen, very, very professional. For me, I hold him with a very much, a lot of respect, and listen, I give a lot of credit to Bernard and his wife, mainly more his wife, but they've raised a hell of a nice young man and daughter. So I don't want to give all the credit to just Jack, but
well, Nicole, in her own right, she just got married recently, and again, her husband Connor. It's funny how people find each other, and they are so much alike in their interests and passions, and they're smart, and I couldn't be happier for them. And then Jack, what he's doing, super proud of him. I mean, he's gone through a lot with just figuring it out. And, he got on a boat with an owner that kind of demanded, doing things and things being right. And he stepped up to the plate and just never looked back.
That's on the job training, man. That's the best way. But then again, you know what? Bernard's like, I remember when they were kids And then we were fishing every weekend because that's the way Jim was.
Right,
And I talked to Bernard because Bernard's really good friends with little Jimmy,
right.
where there's nothing little about Jimmy, but he's in
That's
my
that's a
world,
whole nother story.
yeah, in my world, he'll always be little Jimmy. And so I knew Bernard really well, so I talked to him and this and that. I'm like, he goes, yeah, we go fishing every weekend. I'm like, man, that's amazing. Most families I hear them, they're running a soccer practice and this and that. He goes, oh no, no, I fish. So my kids fish.
Oh
We
yeah,
don't play baseball. We don't play soccer. They go fishing.
yep.
It's
That's
what
right.
I want to do. And they're going
Yeah,
fishing with
100%.
me. And I'm like, huh, okay, I'm good with that.
Yeah,
I'm good
that's
with that.
exactly it. They are a fishing family, and they're good, and they get along, and they like it, and it's a great thing. It's not all families are that way, but
No, no, no.
certainly,
I love it. I mean, first of all, it's good for the industry. But man, you're close now that they're getting older and they get married and they start having kids. You've already got that sport, that hobby together to
right?
stay together.
Yeah,
It's not like, sorry, mom and dad, I got to take little Jack to baseball and we'll see you next weekend, maybe. No, 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 no. We're going fishing.
yeah.
You
Oh yeah,
know, we're going
yeah.
fishing. Everybody's going on Pop's boat and we're
That's
going
right.
fishing, you know,
Uh,
pile on in. So listen, I absolutely love it that that's the way he set the family up.
yeah, yeah. No, he's been. There's not many like him. I've met a couple in my lifetime, and certainly happy to do the things with him and kind of be a part of his life and vice versa. And it's just I tell him all the time. I go, "You're the smartest guy I know." So whenever I have a tough question,
Question.
I'll call him, and
Listen,
probably AI's half of it to give
I,
me an answer.
I have on several occasions, he's called me up for something or vice versa, like a tournament question or getting ready to do something question. And we end up talking for like 2 hours. We end up talking about business. And
Right?
I love catching up with Bernard. He's just a very smart guy, great. I've talked to him about a couple of things that he's done in his business that I've absolutely loved his decisions on. And I was like,
Right?
huh, yeah, I like that.
Oh yeah. He's not afraid to
No,
to
first of
do
all, that took
things and
that took balls to do, and
right.
I absolutely love the fact that you did it like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And there's a lot to be said about that because listen, you know, in being in business, there's a lot of risk.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of risk. Who was I talking to this morning? Oh, Eddie Herbert. I
Oh
was talking
geez.
to Eddie. Well,
Right.
here's the thing. Once you told me you guys went tarpon fishing this yesterday.
Yeah.
So I called him up. I'm like, hey, did you catch any tarpon yesterday? And he's like, how the fuck did you know I went tarpon
Right.
fish? And I'm like, Eddie, come on. You know I got fucking feelers everywhere.
Right.
I
It's
know I
2026.
I know everything that everybody's doing constantly.
Right.
And so we started talking, and we were talking. Somehow we got talking about we started talking about Starlink and Elon Musk, and I'm like, I heard, and I'm just going to really quickly talk about politics. Some person was talking about it's not fair that somebody should have so much money, and it's like, listen, I don't think he goes out there to try to be the richest person, but he loves taking these crazy risks. He
Right.
has these crazy ideas and he's willing to put the risk on it.
Yeah.
He had $100 million from his PayPal deal and he had 180 million. He put 100 million in SpaceX. He had enough for 4 rockets. Four. The first three blew up.
Right.
The last one, if they lost it, the company was going under.
Right.
And it fucking worked.
Yeah.
And then after that, he signed a contract. And That was $100 million gamble. Would you do that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
No,
you
there's not a
would?
lot of people. And really to his credit, he's opened the door for a lot of things for all of us because of what he
Exactly.
does.
Exactly. And I was telling Eddie about some of the other companies he has that he's like, I didn't know he had that, like the Boring Company. I'm like, listen, he invested like $10 million in that. And and it's brilliant because you go to Mars, if you can't be out, if it's too harsh of an environment, you can dig underground and build a whole city underground. I would have never thought of that.
In Mars,
In Mars.
right?
Listen, I'm watching because I love the business aspect of all this stuff. I was listening to there's this podcast I listen to. It's called the All In Podcast. It's a bunch of tech guys, and I love listening to it because again, we're comfortable with knowing talking about the things that we know about.
Right.
And there's certain things I just can't wrap my brain around it until I hear somebody else say it.
Sure.
And they're talking about the cost of mining on the moon is going to be so much less, and mining it on the moon and shipping it back to, you can't even say the US, shipping it back to Earth because gravity on the Earth is 6 times that of what it is on the moon. The moon, all they need is a magnetic strip that gets everything moving and it lifts off the moon and goes straight back to Earth and lands right where you want it to land. It won't cost you anything.
Wow.
And I was like, motherfucker. And they can mine it there, ship it back
Uh,
to us. And then when it comes time to going to Mars, it's easier to leave from the moon because there's no gravity.
oh
You
yeah,
don't,
that's just scary to even have that conversation about that could even be possible someday.
here's the question. You said it's scary. Why is it scary?
Well, because it's probably reality,
It's not probable. It is reality. And
and you think
it's
how far fetched it is when we were kids and watched them land on the moon for the first time. I mean, holy cow, that was unbelievable. How could they do that? And we haven't stopped. And
no.
that's the innovations of everything. And I think kind of like Elon, guys with the money that say, "Oh, we can do that. Oh, that's not
Wait a
too far
second.
out."
Hold on. Wait a
But
second. I got to stop you with the money part. It's the guys with the balls. It's not
well,
the money because listen, you know, in our industry, we're around plenty of rich people. When you get an idea to do something, there's always somebody that's willing to invest.
well, not always. I mean, some
No.
guys will have a great idea that it never goes anywhere. So, there's going to be some of that, but there's enough that do. And, like you say, that right guy is
You got to
with the
have the
right
balls.
idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got the ideas and the balls to do. Listen, he
Yeah.
put 100 million of his own money on the line.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he did it. And then, well, here's the thing. Now that he got it to work, everybody's willing to invest in him.
Well, of course.
Once you get one thing working, everybody's like, yeah, fuck it, I'll try with you. I'll try with you. And listen, first of all, let's go back to something you said. When we were kids, we saw people land on the moon. We are of the generation, and I'm hoping I can see this stuff on the moon. We've literally gone from a rotary phone connected to the wall
Right.
to being able to live on the fucking moon. I
Right.
think that's pretty cool because you go back a generation or two, our parents' generation saw the Industrial Revolution, where it went from living on a farms to working in factories.
Right.
And now we've gone from a rotary fucking phone to self-driving cars.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
It's
know,
funny. My kids, we were somewhere and there was a rotary phone, and my
they
my
were lost.
my kid went, "What is that? Is that an antique phone?" It's like, no, I had one of those when I was a kid, and then you show them what
How it
those
works.
phones were 20 years before that. Crazy.
Oh my God. listen, for me, I think it's fucking phenomenal. I still remember the phone at my grandmother's house. It was a rotary phone. It was in a hutch, and you had to sit right in front of it if you wanted to talk to somebody.
Or you got the long cord so you could go in the bathroom and talk.
I didn't get those until later when I hit fucking teenage years.
Oh yeah, you had a girlfriend,
Yeah, I don't want nobody to hear. I didn't go sit in the bathroom. I just sat outside so nobody would hear me.
right?
I can't wait to see you tomorrow at school.
Oh yeah, oh
I'll
yeah.
carry your bags for you. I'll carry your bags for you. Oh my God. Now look, kids start sending Snapchats to
Oh
each
my
other.
God. Yeah,
I'm like, what are you doing?
yeah. Some of the stuff as parents, because we raised three girls, so I
God
lived in
help
the
you.
estrogen ocean, and it it's painful at best just to
Ooh,
see and hear, and it's like I don't want to know.
I don't blame you.
You and your mother figure it out. Just leave me out of it.
I, that's one of the reasons I didn't want to become a parent. I
Yeah.
I know God has a sense of humor, and I know He would have given me at least one girl.
Oh yeah.
At least one girl.
Oh, well, I had three for a reason.
Oh,
Yeah, there
yeah,
was a
no, no,
payback.
no. I don't. Yeah, and listen, I'm the greatest uncle. Well, I don't know if I'm the greatest uncle, but a lot of people call me Uncle Fly, and I'm very happy about it, and I take it with pride. I
Absolutely.
take it with pride. I'm a sucker for all of them.
Right.
Uncle Fly, will you help me with this? Uncle Fly, can I get that? No, I, I'll tell you. So somebody sent me a video the other day, and again, no thought, no nothing. Somebody sent me a video on Instagram, and I'm like, oh my God, that's fucking hilarious.
Right.
So my best friend who decided to become a dad at 50.
Oh, geez.
And so he has a 4-year-old and he has a 1-year-old. So he was telling me, catching up, and he's like, yeah, Oliver was out with all the little kids in the neighborhood. He's 4, but all the kids are like from 6 to 10, and all the
Mm.
kids have water guns. And he comes back, he's crying and he's soaking wet. So he got fucking blasted.
Right. No.
And listen, I get it. That's part of, that's part of being fucking raised by wolves. You got to be tough.
Yeah.
So, Uncle Fly to the rescue. I go
Oh,
back, I
yeah.
found the
The big gun.
video, I send it to his dad. It's a battery operated gun that has a complete, it almost looks like the Tommy gun, a big circle, and it's an electric pump. And as we're on the phone, I ordered from Amazon. The only
Nice.
thing it's on fucking back order.
Uh,
So it doesn't get there till like May 1st. So I'm waiting.
well, hopefully he's going to walk up to those guys and say hello to my little friend.
Oh my God. Uncle Fly got the. Oh, and I've said it on the podcast and I'll say it before again because I absolutely love it. He was sitting there one day and something happens and he wasn't even 4 at the time. He was 3. He goes, what the fuck? And his parents goes, Oliver, where did you learn that? And he's like, Uncle Fly taught me.
uh, well, okay.
Hey, if you're going to learn a bad word, I want you to learn how to use it properly.
Right.
I don't want you to don't just throw words around there just because you want to say a dirty word.
Right.
You got to use it in context,
Yeah.
So, when he opens up something and it's not fitting, what the fuck is the perfect word,
That's
man?
true. Most of us is probably going to say that.
Yeah, I know. I open up, what the fuck is this?
Right.
I say it at least half a dozen to a dozen times every
Well,
day.
probably be a good name for a boat.
Ooh, you're giving me an idea.
Well, you remember the guy that had the one in the Bahamas that did all that stuff, the abbreviations, flies, floats,
Flies, floats, or fucks. You can say the word fuck on the podcast, man.
Brennan.
Oh, everybody should know.
But he had
Everybody
the
should.
initials on the back of the boat.
FFF?
Well, whatever it was,
Yeah, I can't remember.
and we would always look at it. What the? what in the world? And finally, he told us what it was. And so it became pretty funny after that. But
The
I
one
mean,
I keep remember, the two I keep remembering over there in the Bahamas was the monkey business and
yep.
then the Moonraker because well, the monkey business was the one in the Gary Hart scandal.
Ah,
Remember
okay.
that one?
Yeah.
Fuck, I'm so dating myself. I'm so dating myself. And then the Moonraker used to fish in the BBC, and he ended up doing time for something. I can't remember what that was.
Wow.
Yeah, it's listen, that's just part of the our industry. There's
Oh,
always
oh yeah.
there's always
It's
some
a story to
craziness.
everything.
It's the crazy part about our industry is people look at the news and they're like, man, that's so far-fetched. And you're like, not really.
Right.
Like here's a good example. So where Eddie and I docked in St. Thomas for 14 seasons was at the end of Sea Dock. The first 10 slips of Sea Dock were owned by Jeffrey Epstein.
Wow. No kidding.
You'd see him out, not every day, because the days we were fishing, you didn't see him. But if we weren't
Was he a
fishing,
fishing guy? Did he go
no,
fishing?
no, no, no.
Oh,
Little St. James, as soon as you leave out of Vessup Bay,
right.
when you're leaving out of Vessup Bay in St. Thomas, you hang a left to go to the drop. If you go by Cabrita Point on the right, there's Little St. James. It's right there.
Wow.
Jeffrey Epstein's island is to the right.
Wow.
So he kept an office right there in St. Thomas. That's why when you hear all these Congress people from St. Thomas, that's why.
Right.
So on them days that we weren't fishing and you're working in the cockpit in the morning before it gets too fucking hot where the sun burns you in the afternoon, you'd see Jeffrey Epstein go by.
Wow.
Yeah, so you know this industry, we're right in the middle of all the shit,
Oh, without a doubt.
you
Without,
know?
yeah. I
It was
remember the girlfriends getting on the plane as the wives were landing.
I don't no hablo inglés. No hablo inglés. I don't know shit, man. It's none
Uh,
of my business. I have, and I don't even want to say this in a derogatory. I have one. It's different when I was 20 years old and not married, and I'm not married now, but one's enough. I'm happy with one.
oh yeah.
One's enough.
You would see that stuff and just shake your head like,
I'm
man, when
like,
that
yeah,
comes tight on the other end.
yeah, I got
Yeah.
too much shit going. As it is, I feel like I'm a fucking tight wire walker as it is with enough shit. All the other shit I got going on. I don't need to be juggling two women.
Yeah.
I got no business doing that.
Yeah.
It's different when you're 20 years old and you're traveling all over the place and all you have is a pickup truck and a duffel bag.
Yeah. True.
It's different. Okay.
Yeah.
What were you doing? Okay. Goodbye.
Yeah.
I'm not coming back to the States for 6 months anyway. So,
Yeah. Perfect.
yeah, go fishing in St. Thomas and living in Venezuela for 4 years. You do,
You think Venezuela's going to open up?
100%.
Yeah.
I've already been called.
No kidding.
Yeah. Listen,
Yeah.
I got my first call. Everything went down January 3rd. I got my first call. I think it was either the 8th or the 9th.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then I am waiting for an email. I've gotten messages. Because I lived there for 4 years. So all the local Venezuelan guys that were the sons of business people that were
Right.
my age, they're all business people my age now. So they
Sure.
want to go back. And
You
they
think the
know
fishing will still be the same?
it already is, man.
Yeah.
I have talking about fly fishing. So one of my buddies, he just had a meeting with the governor down there in Vargas. He's like, hey, would it be okay if I tell the governor what you're doing with Saudi Arabia with promoting fishing over there so you can help us down here? I'm like, absolutely. And I'd love to. I mean, a part of my heart is still down there. I fucking loved it down there.
Right.
Greatest fishing to this day. I've never seen anything like what I
Yeah.
saw in Venezuela. The
Yeah.
fishing in,
I went there twice for Richard's fly tournament that he had
uh-huh.
when he put on the Venezuela Invitational Billfish tournament. Then he had the fly tournament.
Yep.
I mean, if you had to do a fly tournament in somewhere else in the world other than Guatemala, because that's so good because of the amount of shots and the fishing you get out of it. Because not every place that you go, they're
You get that many
catchable on
bites.
fly rod.
Yeah.
But man, if that place opened up and do a fly tournament down there,
So when
that,
when we're done with this, I'm gonna send you a video. So my buddy that lives down there, just so people that have never been to Venezuela understand, he's a local Venezuelan guy. He's like, yeah, I got tired of catching them, so I only fly fish now.
nice.
So he sent me a video, and you can see it coming in on the teaser, and you can see slowly but surely they're going down sea, and they're losing all the white water because the boat's got to go in neutral. Goes neutral. He throws the fly and head and shoulders out of the water. Boosh!
Blue Marlin.
Blue Marlin.
Yeah.
Blue
Yeah.
Marlin. Boosh! Now,
Yeah.
the only thing different between down there and Guatemala is Venezuela. It's fucking rough every day.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
choppy,
No, it's rough.
it's rough,
Yeah.
but you're willing to put up with it because you're getting 15, 20 billfish bites a day.
Right.
And that's on a slow day.
Yeah.
You know, you go there in the fall and you're getting 40 or 50 billfish bites in a day.
And they're grand slams. I mean, that's
Oh,
the beauty of that.
that's why I'm saying billfish. It's fucking
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the
So
few times I went was just amazing. And I never went on the conventional side. I only went there twice to do that. But I mean I saw the flags, I saw the boats and what guys were doing, and it was insane.
I had an aha moment. Every once in a while in life, you have to ground yourself again.
Yeah.
Uh, we've all been we've all been humbled, and luckily for me, I noticed it and I humbled myself. I've been humbled by karma and God plenty of times, but I remember one day I was complaining. I caught a blue, three whites, and a sail, and I was complaining about how bad fishing was. And as I'm walking away, and come to think about it, I don't think we flew flags back then. Back then, I don't think we flew flags. I can't remember. At least not the boat I was on.
Was it really
Uh,
there?
no, we went in 2007. But while I was down there from 96 through 2000 with Billy Bohr on the topless,
Okay.
and that's how I got offered the job on the Real Tide. It was Skip Smith emailed me. And this was at the infancy of emailing. Emailing was brand
Right.
new. He's like,
Wow.
hey, Jim Lambert is building a new boat and he wants a bilingual mate. I gave Eddie Herbert your information. I'm like, okay, I'm moving back home at the end of the tagging season. I had given my boss at the time, Scott Steele, I gave him 6 months notice, which really in the grand scheme of things is really dumb because
Right.
6 months notice, it's really easy for somebody to say, fuck off, you can leave now.
Right.
But I
Right.
wanted to be fair to him. I had already been with him for a bunch of years, and he set out to win top tagging angler of the Atlantic. And we got top blue marlin, top white marlin, and then he got Atlantic Angler of the Year. And I just wanted to finish out the season with him. I didn't
Right.
want to leave him uh, stranded in the middle of the season. Truth be told, I did the same thing with Jimmy. When I left the Real Tight, I got offered a job. I accepted the job, but I said I won't leave until we get the boat back to Florida. And
Right.
it was whatever, 8 weeks, 9 weeks.
Right.
Um, Again, he could have sent me home, but I just didn't feel that was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
So anyway, long story short, um, Skip had reached out to me and he's like, "Hey, Eddie's looking for a mate," and that's that's how I got the job on the Real Tight.
Did you know Eddie prior to that?
I had met him in St. Thomas and I had met Jim in St. Thomas, but I didn't know them.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, I knew them in passing. Hey, Ed. Hey, Jim. But
Right.
not hanging out and knowing them. And truth be told, at the beginning, I wasn't really sure I wanted the job. I'm like, man, I like to fish, but leaving at 4 a.m. and coming back at fucking 10, is this something I want to do? After
Right.
one day of kite fishing with them, I'm like, this is cool.
Yeah.
That's a good dude,
Yeah.
you know. And fishing with Jim Lambert, I mean, he really made the
Yeah.
job. It
Yeah.
was, uh, anytime you're doing something and you want to give 150%, the the thing that's most deflating is if you're giving 150 and the person you're doing it for is only doing it at 70%. And
Right.
it's deflating.
Yeah. That wasn't
But
the case on that rig.
no, I gave 150 and he would give 160.
Yeah.
And I mean, he loved it. He absolutely loved it. And unfortunately, and I say unfortunately, uh, I went to work for him in November of 2000, and they had diagnosed him in September with lung cancer. And they had given him 6 months to live. And I'm thinking, "Mm,
Wow.
yeah." And he lived for 8.5 years.
I was going to say
He
he
lived,
got quite a bit of
oh
time.
no, that's what he's a fucking fighter.
Yeah.
He's a fucking fighter. And I may have said this on the podcast before. I can't really remember. I don't have it here. I have it at my house. The house that I have rented. It's I have a Uncle Harry tell him he made this poster. It was Jim's last trip.
Wow.
It was the May moon in St.
Yeah.
Thomas, and I was making lunch for everybody, but I had already served Jim his lunch because he couldn't eat what everybody else was eating.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Hey, Fly." And I knew he had a question, so I shut the stove off and I walk around and I sit in the chair. I go, "Yeah, boss, what can I help you with?" And he's like, "Just wondering, I'm sitting here trying to guess how many blue marlins do you think you and I have caught together?"
Hmm.
And I'm like, "Fuck, boss, I don't know." I said, "I'll grab the books right now." He goes, "No, no, no, just off the top of your head." And I'm like, "Well, we've fished together this many years." And I'm like, "I don't know, somewhere between 700 and 750 blue marlins." He goes, "I was thinking 725."
Wow.
And I'm so glad he did that because I had never counted. You know,
Sure.
we had the numbers in the books, but I never sat there and counted. All I knew is the one I wanted to catch so bad was the next one.
Right.
I really didn't give a shit what number I was on
Right.
behind. I just knew
Right.
I wanted to catch the next one.
Yeah.
And I wanted to catch more than everybody else.
Yeah.
And that's all I gave a shit about. And so the fact that he stopped me for that minute, I'm glad he did. I'm glad he
Sure.
did, because that was his last trip.
Wow.
That was his last trip. We didn't know that.
No,
That
of course.
wasn't planned. We didn't know that. And but I'm glad he asked me that question, and I take it with me to this day.
Sure.
You know, you go out there, you catch them.
Yeah.
That's, you're only as good as at the moment you accomplish something.
Yeah.
Once that moment is over,
Yeah.
you're right back at square one. You got to do it again.
Yeah.
You know, you,
So many people don't realize that moment, winning a tournament or whatever it might be, you really have to take it all in and appreciate it because it may never happen again,
no,
and certainly it's hard. You think of how many tournaments you fish and maybe you're the bridesmaid or maybe that one got away that would have put you there. But when it all comes together and you get that win, there's nothing greater and it's short lived. And
T
unfortunately,
tomorrow it starts zero again.
exactly. Yeah. But it's a
It-
great feeling it's something that all of this stuff, and like you didn't know that was the last time you guys were going to hang and do that stuff. You knew it was coming,
yeah.
but that stuff means a lot, and you cherish that stuff because you never know. It's just the way life is. It's very
100%.
valuable in a different way.
I I remember one time we were fishing the Lauderdale billfish tournament, but we were fishing it on little Jimmy's boat on the really tight, and uh, it was right around Thanksgiving. It was like the week before
Yeah.
Thanksgiving. So Eddie
Yeah.
went home. I think Joe was duck hunting. So it was just Jim, Jimmy, pork chop, and myself. And we're fucking up. We're fishing. Great. Well, Jim loved to run that 54 Birchin.
Oh, that's right.
He loved to run that boat.
Yeah.
So we go out there and we win the tournament
Wow. Without Eddie.
without anybody, just the four of us.
Right.
Everybody else has all these fucking, just the four of us goofing off. Now,
Right.
mind you, it really was good because it wasn't one of those. It took 27 fish to win it.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know. I think we caught six, five or six, something. It wasn't a lot, but it was one of those things. Jim had a feeling about one spot. We went to the stink hole right there in Del Rey.
Right.
We set up. We caught four right off the bat, and we
Wow.
we didn't move for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
And I remember one time Jim was up on the bridge all fucking day long. He calls me up. He said, "Hey, come up here. I gotta go to the bathroom." I'm like, "Okay." He goes, "Do not let anybody in on this spot. If somebody pushes you off, you're fucking fired." And I'm like, "Yes,
Okay.
sir."
Right.
And literally, you got two kites, one on one side of the stink hole, one on the other side of the stink hole.
Right.
And we get up, and then we won, and it's like, oh my God, we won! Yeah, won the Lauderdale Billfish because back in the day, that was a big fucking tournament.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
So it's like, boss, you coming to the awards? I'm not coming to the fucking award. I go, Jim, you're top captain. He goes, I'm not even registered as the captain. I
Oh,
go, listen, it's registered as James Lambert because little Jimmy was registered as the captain. Nobody
right.
knows the fucking difference between James Lambert and James R. Lambert. Get
Right.
your ass here. And he fucking showed up and he got his award. To me, that's one of the most happiest moments because I got to see
Absolutely.
him because he was such a good fisherman. He could do everything. He could fucking rig a bait. He could put up a kite. He could run the boat. He was just a great fucking fisherman,
Right.
you know? So, yeah, that was a pretty proud moment. At least for me, it was. I just thought it was pretty cool. We didn't have the whole team together. And listen, we were a great team. And this has nothing to do with that certain people were missing. It was just, you know what? Let's go do our thing,
Yeah.
and we do our thing. We go out and he had three rules: safety first, catching, safety first, have fun second, catching fish third.
Yeah.
So we were safe. We were,
Right.
we were having fun and we fucking caught fish.
In the end, you're just going fishing.
That's it.
Just
When,
going fishing. And
when,
and every dog has their day, right? I mean, you learn over the time, you get your shot, you catch them. It's all you need is the next shot.
that's it.
Yeah. And sometimes you don't get them, and it's not that you couldn't win, but got to be in the right place and get those shots. And you guys made the right move because I'm sure if you didn't stop there, you were going to the martini glass. So,
Well,
you
that's where, listen, we own property there.
know, exactly.
We own property at the Martini Glass.
Yeah.
But no, like you said, I'm going to fish the OWC next week with my friends from Saudi, and they always ask me, what do you think it's going to take to win? I go, whoever has the highest ratio from hookup to catch.
Yeah.
And literally, I think that tournament we were either 5 for 5 or 6 for 6.
Right.
You know,
What tournament was that?
I'm going to go fish the OWC, the Offshore World Championship.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So all
Yeah.
my buddies from Saudi Arabia are flying in. Actually, one of them right now, and I've gotten a couple messages across the screen. He wanted to practice and get warmed up, so he went to the Galapagos this week.
Nice.
So he's down in fucking Ecuador catching striped marlin for
Nice.
practice. I'm like, it goes back to what we said originally.
Yeah.
You just got to go out there and go fishing.
Yeah.
It's There's no secret weapon.
Yeah.
There's no special combination. It's just go out there.
Well, that's the thing with Guatemala. What makes it so nice for the fly fishing, and also if you're a guy that's conventional fishing and you want to get better, you hook 100 fish in a couple of days. Guess what? Your learning curve has changed quite a bit.
It goes straight up, man.
Yeah, exactly.
It goes
So
straight
yeah,
up.
they're most of their business. Well, not most of it. A lot of their business are guys like that because they want to get better. And look, you fish some of these big tournaments on the East Coast now with the big money. You get a crack at 170-pound white marlin. You don't want to miss them, and you want to feel comfortable and everything. So it's all part of the game.
Exactly. You got to capitalize on, and listen, that's just life in general. That's not just fishing. You got to
True. That's true.
capitalize on every opportunity you get.
Yeah, very true.
You know,
And
if
recognize
you
that opportunity.
exactly
Yeah.
100%, it's that's when luck is when opportunity meets preparation.
That's right. Yeah.
When you're prepared and the opportunity comes a knocking, you better open up that door and take advantage of it.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, we were able to do that in
That's
at the
awesome.
Lauderdale Billfish, and yeah, that's one of my favorite memories
Yeah.
of Jim. I got a lot of them. I got a lot of them. He was a great guy.
Yeah.
I showed it last week. I was talking with Sam Peters. I got a picture of Jim right there. He looks over on me to make sure I don't fuck up. You, for such a smart guy, you're such a fucking idiot.
Yeah. Well, that's how he was.
Man, but he was, listen, and he was a jokester to boot, you
Yeah.
know? That was
Yeah.
the greatest thing.
Yeah.
He
He
was
was just a real guy,
he was.
like one of the boys.
If you didn't know, he'd walk around the dock in his board shorts. Hey, what'd you get the bite on today? Who
Yeah.
the fuck are you? Be
Yeah.
careful who you say that to,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
but he would talk to everybody.
Yeah.
He
Can't judge that book by the cover.
he was notorious. People come to the boat and they're talking. He's like, man, I got to fly out of here. You want to ride home with me? What? It's like, you're flying
Nice.
out today, right? Why don't you just jump on the plane with me and let's continue this conversation? He didn't want, listen, if you were talking fishing, he didn't want to stop. I wish
Right.
he would. There's, look, I miss him dearly, and there are so many reasons I wish he was still alive. I wish he was still alive just to have him on this podcast to talk just
Right.
fishing, because one of his favorite sayings was, if I would try in business as much as I try in fishing, I might be successful. That motherfucker was way successful.
Oh yeah.
He was way successful, but man, he, he was angry at him.
Yeah.
He was angry on them Blue
Oh
Marlins.
yeah.
He
Well, a
didn't,
blue marlin's angry anyway, so
yeah. So you might as
go
well be
together.
angry back.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Right.
all this stuff of going to Cape Verde and the fads in Costa Rica. As it was when we went to Costa Rica, we never came back in. We were out for 15, 16, 17 days in a row. He's like, why are we going back in? It's flat calm.
Right.
And there was no fads.
Right.
We just did it because we can fish more,
Right.
So now with fads, we'd probably come back with 100 every 3 days. The way he was,
Right.
we originally, he had lined up, him and Eddie had lined up us going to Ascension.
Oh wow.
We were going to go to Ascension, and he flew down to fish for a couple of days in Brazil because we were going to charter the
Oh,
God's
Eddie
Will.
Eddie told me this story yesterday.
Did he really?
Yeah,
Where they
and he
went to
said,
Brazil?
yeah, and he said that's all fine and good, but that plane ride, because he said it was like 7 or 8 hours or something on the plane, and he didn't want to. He said it was too far to go do
Well,
it.
it was a little bit that he didn't want to go, and his doctors didn't want him to go that far. It was
Yeah,
a little bit of both. He goes, man, that's just way too far.
yeah. I
You
mean
know,
that's way down there.
wait. And here's the thing. And again, I was young back then. And I wasn't 100% sure. I think back then, the only way you can go to that island, I think you had to be on a military transport from Lisbon. I don't know if they would have let him land his jet there.
Oh, wow.
I'm not sure because that was a military base.
Right.
And the Ascensions is very similar to Bermuda. Bermuda's runway is 10,000 feet. It's an alternate landing spot for the shuttle.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Bermuda is an alternate landing spot for the shuttle. In case there's an accident or something,
Right.
it
Wow.
needs that much runway. And Ascension was the same thing. It was 10,000 feet.
Wow. That's a long
So
runway.
that's a lot, man. That's like 2 miles.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's like, I mean, listen, if you want to practice on being a sniper,
You're right.
that's where you practice.
Yeah. Holy cow.
Yeah. Not that I want to be a sniper or anything. I
Yeah.
really, I've done some of them long shots. It's cool to say you've done it, but eh, I don't necessarily want to elk hunt and see something 2 miles away. I can barely, fuck. I can't
Oh,
even,
yeah.
if I take off my glasses, I can't see you.
Right. Yeah.
You're blurry.
The whole hunting thing, it's funny how it relates to fishing. Most guys that fish hunt. I never did growing up in Fort Lauderdale. I didn't have a family that hunted, so I never did. I've never eaten any game of any kind. Never
Really?
never been hunting. Then I've had some invites,
Yeah.
but it just wasn't my thing. I was always fishing, or my grandfather would take me fishing, and I hear my friends talk about, I guess, turkey season's going on now. Everybody wants to shoot a turkey. So I have a friend of mine. He goes scouting. So he goes for a week to scout where the turkeys are. And I said, "Well, when's your hunt?" "Oh, it's another week." So you're going to scout for a week, come home for a week, and then go back. And you think these turkeys are going to be where you found them scouting to get one? And he
Yeah.
goes, "Oh yeah."
Yeah, they're not going far.
I go, "Okay." So he's got the feeders, he's got the cameras, everything. So they see their turkeys, they come home, they're all dialed in. I go, "Well, this is kind of easy, isn't it? I mean, you've got them all picked out. You're watching them on the camera. You got these things." And he goes, "Oh no, it may all change when we get there."
Yeah.
And when they go, of course they're gonna hunt for 3 or 4 days. And I go, "How many of these can you keep?" He goes, "Well, just one." So you get one and you come home. So again, not being a hunter, I'm not following up on how all this works.
So
So he goes,
go ahead, finish.
he goes, and the first day, I call him and I go, "How's it going?" "Oh, not so good. The turkeys weren't where we found them before." And I'm thinking, well, no shit. That was 2 weeks ago. Of course they're not there. And he goes, "Well, but we found some today. We'll get them tomorrow." I said, "Oh, okay. Same place?" "No, different area." "Okay." And he's telling me how they go up in the trees at night, and I guess they
They
roost or whatever
they
up in the tree.
roost.
So I'm thinking, go to the tree. They got to come out of the tree. Wait for them to come out of the tree, and voila. But I guess it doesn't work quite like that.
It,
So anyway, long
it
story short, he goes for a week, doesn't get a turkey. He's got 2 weeks of being away trying to figure all this out and didn't get a turkey. And I'm thinking, man, you really suck at this.
how
Well,
many times have you gone to the Bahamas for 2 weeks and you didn't catch anything?
well, that's fishing.
No, 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 no. You got to understand. Henry David Thoreau says it takes you a lifetime to realize you're not going fishing to catch a fish.
True.
You're going fishing because you like to be out there.
Well, and I would always tell people when we would go to the Bahamas, look, this is all about the adventure. Where we're going to go, what we're going to do is going to be super cool. If a fish swims in front of us, that's going to be great. And a lot of times we had good fishing. I mean, I don't think I ever had a 2 week trip in the Bahamas ever where we didn't, get into something.
Yeah.
But, you know, every trip is about the adventure, the people you're with, what you might be going after, what you got to do to change it up, or weather, or whatever. There is no textbook. Here's what we're doing. Here's how it's going to work. Here's where they're going to be. Nothing. And for people to think that all you do is go out there and put a bait over and troll around and catch a fish, they're mistaken.
So when you say a lot of fishermen go hunting, one of the things that I tell a lot of people, when you go hunting, you go out to an area and you go look for it. Things are living in this area, you scout it out. How many times have we gone pre-fishing to see what the water is like the day
Oh,
before?
oh yeah,
You want to check it
yeah,
out.
yeah,
So it's no di And then when you go out there, you're looking through binoculars.
yeah,
Oh, look, there's a water change. Oh, there's some bird. It's hunting. When
yeah,
we're
oh, yeah,
fishing, we're fucking hunting. It's this, that's why there's so many people that there's the overlap because it's the same fucking thing. We're
right,
trying to look at Mother Nature and see the signs that are going to point us in the right direction. Oh,
yeah,
look, this little spot is cleared out where the deer is, he's doing his scrapes and his rubs and okay, so he's coming back here. Oh, look, there's an edge and there's three birds dipping.
yeah,
How many times have
yeah,
we look, why did that flying fish get up over there by itself and there's nothing there? Let's go check it out. Boom,
yeah,
you got something on.
oh yeah,
So that's why we enjoy the reading the signs.
right. Here's your sign. I
Here's
mean,
your
all of
sign. Yeah. It's
yeah.
we're going you check it out, you know?
They used to have the bonefish tournaments here. Well, they still do, but back in the 80s, for example, they were big bonefish here, and you would want to catch your big bonefish in the tournament because you were only allowed five. You can only weigh five fish. And it was one a day in the 5-day tournament. Then they upped it to two a day in the 3-day tournament. But anyways, notoriously, you would go out on a Sunday, tournament starts on Monday, you catch a 13-pounder. Guess how many 13-pounders you catch during the tournament? Yeah. So I was kind of against some of this pre-fishing stuff. And I would tell my guys, look, let's just go look. Let's not bring any fishing rods. Let's just go pole around and look around and see what we see. Because whatever we catch isn't going to help us tomorrow. But if we find something cool that we don't disturb, maybe we can come back and get lined up with it. So we started doing a lot of that. And again, it was time on the water. It was recognizing those conditions,
You're
reading
scouting.
the conditions of the day. But the fishing side of it, it's funny how many people would do that. And we would all laugh about it. And it got to a point where I said, I'm not doing it. I can't take it.
You know how
This
many
is
you know how many
getting
fish
me crazy.
how many blue marlins I've caught on the lay day of the Boy Scout?
Oh,
I could have won the motherfucker 6 times over.
that's because you went fishing.
What else are you gonna do? We're gonna sit on the dock and look at each other?
Well,
Listen, look at
well,
Eddie. Do
I
you
mean,
want to
it's the
fucking
lay
stare
day.
at Eddie all day long? And
Well,
Joe and Eric and Jim. Fuck it. I didn't want to. If I was gonna look at you, I'd rather look at the spread and do. I only want to turn around
uh,
every once in a while. We had some kid. His name was Hugo. He came fishing with us. He just wanted to go fishing with us, and Jim had an open door policy. If you're on the boat, you're going fishing.
right.
And so he fished with us all day long. And for the life of me, I can't remember what we caught, but I do remember what I heard on the dock afterwards. Everyone's like, "What was it like? What did they do? What are they doing different?" He says,
Right.
"These motherfuckers, all they did was play gin all day long. That's all we
Just
did.
drive around.
We just drive around." Here's the thing: when you're fishing 14 hours and everybody else is fishing 8,
Oh yeah.
that fucking adds up. Let's not even say 8, not or 14. Let's say 12. Let's just say 12 hours. I fish 12 hours and you're fishing 8. After 3 days, you need 3 days to catch up to my 2 days of fishing. We
Yeah.
ain't doing nothing fancy. We're just fishing more.
Yeah. And it's funny you say that because that was a big part of the walk around when I did the walk around. And I said, look, if I can keep fishing while all these other guys are backing down, I'm going to
Yeah.
get at the end of the day, I'm going to have an extra hour of fishing that these guys aren't going to have. And, the way the boat was, when Bernard and I first got together, we fished the deadbait tournaments up in Stewart and Fort Pierce. And we didn't have dredges, we didn't have teasers or any of this stuff. And I'll never forget Glenn Cameron coming up to me saying, what we were using for our dredges. And I go, we don't even have any dredges out. We're just fishing 4 ballyhoos. And, he thought I was lying. Like, no, we've got no dredges,
You,
unlike everybody else with triple mullet dredges and everything else. But we would hook a fish and turn the boat and literally walk to the front, grab the leader, and we
you got the
never
fish.
we never really like came out of gear.
Yeah, it helps when you're fishing that much more, that adds up.
That's a big difference. From the competitive side, that's why so many things about that boat and that design just I never understood why people just didn't jump all over it and recognize, the safety, the fishability, and all of these things. It's as competitive as it is today. You think that would be, really important.
Yeah, but a lot of people like to sit in that salon on the
Yeah,
ride out when it's rough. And
yeah,
listen, it
yeah,
depends on what you want. Like,
yeah,
I saw that you commented on the podcast with Tim Winters, because he's built, I believe he's building one now with the walk around.
yeah. Oh, his boats
Uh,
are beautiful.
um,
There's one at Ocean Reef that's been there for years, and I mean, beautiful
yeah,
express.
he does a really, really good job.
Yeah.
And he's
I'm
a suit.
surprised he hasn't built a flybridge boat. But what I found with these guys, Craig Blackwell, Paul Spencer, they won't build a boat unless somebody orders it.
Well,
So they're not going to build a spec boat or anything like that. They're building whatever the customer wants.
the only custom boat builder I know that builds boats on spec is Roy Merritt.
That's true.
He's the only one I know, but he's not building the only one-off. Well, actually, there's two one-offs. The Caliban 2, which is a walk-around.
Yeah, that was the 35.
I think it was the 35. It's the royal blue one.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
then Project X that became the Chunda.
Right. That was the 45 Express.
Was it
Express boat
45?
that
Was it
that
45
Barkey.
or 53? It was the one that Barkey had.
Yeah,
Whatever size it was.
yeah,
Whatever size it
yeah,
was.
yeah.
But he builds specs because he knows somebody's going to come down the line
100%. And they do. I
oh,
think I think Eddie told me he's booked out till 3031.
I believe it.
Yeah. I mean, with the new cat boat he's coming out with, I know Jimmy's supposed to get one, and they're building the one that was supposed to go to Jimmy Buffett.
Yep.
That's the one
I
they're
I
finishing
thought they
up.
finished that one. Did they
They're,
finish it?
they're close, but
Okay.
I don't think it's done yet. But I mean,
Yeah.
it's 57 feet. It cat pretty much center console, although they have like a pilot house salon area in them, which is kind of cool.
It's and listen, a cat is wide enough to do something like that,
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
you know. And now what is he going to put four outboards on it?
Yeah, yeah. I think they're all outboard boats. I don't think any of them are going to have inboards.
No, that's what when he first started doing it, I went. So Roy and I have the same doctor.
Right.
So if I go down, if I go see my doctor and I don't stop in and see Roy, oh, I get a fucking call, man. Do I get a call? And sometimes it's not directly from Roy. Sometimes I get it from Eddie. He goes, "Hey, Godfather's upset at you." I'm like,
Yeah,
"What?" He goes, "Yeah, Godfather's upset at you. He heard that you went and visited, you were in Broward County. You didn't stop by the yard."
right.
All right, listen, you want to talk about one of my most cherished relationships is my relationship with Roy Merritt.
Yeah.
You know, he is uh he's the Godfather. I call him the
Yep.
Godfather for a reason because it doesn't matter what happens in this industry and who it is. Name a boat builder that hasn't had a problem and hasn't called Roy.
Oh, without a doubt. And the fact that he's willing to answer any questions. If you ask him something, he's not secretive. He's not sneaky about it. He'll
No.
you. I had conversations with him building this boat. When I would walk in his office, the first thing he would say to me is, "Well, you're still at it." And I'd have a question and he would give me an answer. He wouldn't explain to me what I had to do to fix it, but he would tell me that it's fixable and you can change it and do something like this. And just a wealth of information and,
Nonstop.
and knowledge and everything. And like at any time, willing to talk to you, give you his time. I mean, and a lot of times happy to see you, like, you know, wants to talk about stuff like,
Yeah. Like I said, if I go to Broward and I don't call him, he gets mad.
yeah, no, I,
No, it's one of the things that I love about Roy. Now, I will give anybody that's listening to this one piece of advice. If you ask Roy why he's doing something on the bottom of a boat, don't be standing next to the boat because he will literally pull out his pencil and start writing on your white hull. Ask him in the office. I've had to polish more fucking hull because I'm like, hey, why did you add this little piece of chine here? And he's like, well, you see right here. I'm like, son of a bitch, I just finished polishing that.
uh,
No, listen, I was happy to do it. I was
yeah,
happy to do it. But no, there was one, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm remembering this. I was a kid. Oh, I say a kid. We were getting ready to repower the boat. They just brought the engine, the way Roy built the boat, he made the door just wide enough to get the block in and out of
right,
but you had to tear it down to bare block.
right,
So you didn't have to cut out the bulkhead. So same thing, our engine was taken apart at uh at the I don't want to throw anybody under the bus. So fuck it. It was FDDA. So
right.
they took it apart at FDDA and they brought it over in pieces and put it in the warehouse. And I'll never forget it was December 23rd. Everybody was away for fucking Christmas. And I was there by myself and I knew the next day, Christmas Eve, I'm not working. And it's like 2 o'clock in the afternoon and I have three mechanics show up. And I'm like, they're like, hey, where are the real type parts? And I'm like, they're in that bay right over there. Why? And they're like, oh, we need your intake manifolds. I go, nobody told me that you can take some intake manifolds. Oh yeah, they sent us out because we have to have a boat done by Christmas and we're gonna swap them out. And I'm like, hold on a second. So I call up Eddie, no answer. I call up our mechanic, no answer. I'm like,
Oh boy,
man, listen, last thing I need is to give you the authorization to take our intake manifolds and then
right.
Jim find out or hold us up somewhere down the line. Until I get somebody to authorize this, I don't. Well, listen, we're going to replace them anyway. It's not a big deal. And I'm like, you know what? Hold on a second. And I run to the office back when I could run. I ran to the office. I don't know how old I was. I was maybe 30, 31. And I'm like, Godfather, Godfather. He goes, and he was talking with Skinny Al. I don't know if you remember Skinny
Oh,
Al.
of course.
So they were talking. I'm like, hey, I got some people here from FDDA saying that they can take they're going to take our intake manifolds. And Eddie never told me about it. Did he tell you? And he's like, no, they can't take it. So I can tell them that they're not allowed to. He goes, they're on private property. You can tell them to get the fuck out of here. I'm like, okay, that's all I need to know. And I fucking take off and I go running. So the one guy's on the phone. There's two guys on the outside. And like I said, this is December 23rd. I go,
Right.
I'm, I go, hey man, do you believe in Jesus? He's like, what? And he goes, while the other guy's on the phone. And I
Right.
go, no, no. Do you believe in Jesus? He goes, yeah, I believe in Jesus. I go, well, you got a better chance of seeing Jesus than taking my motherfucking intake manifolds. And the other guy goes, I'm going to have to let you go.
Right.
And hangs up. And right about then, Roy shows up in his
Oh,
golf cart
geez.
with Skinny Al. He goes, what are you gentlemen doing? well, we need to, he goes, listen, these engines have been bought and paid for by Jim Lambert. Until I get a call from Jim Lambert himself, you can't take anything.
Wow.
So they leave and uh whatever, the end of the day comes and I drive home and I get a phone call from Eddie at like 5 o'clock on my way home. He goes, "Hey man, what happened?" I go, "Eddie, they tried to take our intake manifolds." And he goes, "No, no, no. I know that. Roy called me up and he said, you ran in there and when he told you what to do, you left like a Cuban pit bull." I'm like, I just want to tell those guys to fuck off, man. You know,
Right?
when you're 30 years old, you don't have enough confidence to tell somebody to fuck off on your own. You kind of need
Yeah.
adult supervision. Once
Yeah. You got the
Getting
green light.
getting authorization from Roy Merritt, that's like, that's like John Gotti telling you, go ahead with the hit.
Right.
I
That's pretty
did. I
that's
rolled
pretty
right
awesome.
out there. Do
And
you
or
know?
those guys were just trying to jack yours because they couldn't find any?
It's I I don't want to just say they couldn't find any. They needed a job done by December 25th.
Right.
So what they wanted to do was take our parts and then replace our old blocks weren't even out yet.
Yeah.
So, but they had to take the engines apart, wrap everything up properly, and they just wanted to replace it a week later, 2 weeks later, by the time we needed it.
Yeah.
But my concern was if I gave you those parts
Oh, of course.
and those parts are now not available,
Oh yeah.
then we end up waiting for it. How
Yeah,
do
not
I
good.
answer Jim?
Yeah. No,
First of all,
you did the right thing.
First of all, how do I answer Eddie? Because he's going to give me the first tongue lashing.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's number
Survive
one.
that, then
And then I got to get it
Jimmy
from
kick you.
fucking Jim too?
Yeah.
No. Uh-uh. And here's the thing. I wanted to tell the guys fuck off, but and if Eddie would have answered the phone, I would have told him fuck off.
Right.
If my mechanic would have answered, I would have told him to fuck off.
Right.
Next, and I don't know where Jim was. I think he was even out fishing. He was out of the country or something. So I'm like, I'm going right to the Godfather.
Right.
Fucking Roy's off, and I ran in there too. Roy, they're trying to take my intake manifolds. What can I do? No, that's all I need.
And I guarantee you, him and Al, when you went shooting back out of that room, him and Al went, "What the hell is going on?
That's
We
100%
got to
what they
go
did.
check this out." And
Yeah.
here he comes.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what he did. They're
Yeah.
like, they didn't know who it was, what I was going to
Sure.
say. Listen, I can get a little hot under the collar. And literally, you just gave me the green light. Hey, Dad, can I punch him? Fuck
Right.
yeah, you can punch him. Okay.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. You know, fuck yeah. So
Gonna
I
be a
took,
bad day.
no, man, that would have been a shitty fucking Christmas if I would have gotten yelled by Eddie and then yelled
Oh,
by Jim. No
yeah.
way.
Yeah. No, you did
Yeah.
the right thing.
No, listen, I did the right thing. But going back to the relationship, I've got at least 50 of those stories.
Yeah. Oh
I've
yeah.
got at least 50 of those stories where Eddie was somewhere and I couldn't get an answer, or Roy tells me one thing and then I call Eddie and I'm like, Eddie, I personally, I'm not happy with this, but I don't know how to tell Roy. And Eddie will call me up and goes, okay, I called Roy and I told him that you're not accepting it. What the fuck, Eddie? I'm gonna run an ocean yacht for the rest of my fucking
Right.
life. You don't
Right.
tell Roy. You're my captain. You're supposed to protect me from shit like this. No,
Uh,
not it.
he was just making you stronger.
Listen, there are things I do today. There are projects I got going on now. It's because of the fact that Eddie allowed me to do the things that he allowed me to do.
Right.
I thank him I was telling Eddie about a project I got going on now. He's like, how the fuck do you get involved in shit like that? I'm like, I'm sitting on the back of the boat talking to somebody and
Right.
somebody has a problem. I'm like, I can fix that. And I can
Right.
pick up a call and I fix it. They're like, well, can you help me with this other problem? And next thing you know, you're in this fucking project that you had no business being in.
Oh yeah.
But
Being
I
a nice guy.
yeah, and mind you, I say that I'm not complaining about it. It's a positive. It's just part of doing business. But it's because Jim gave me the courage. Eddie allowed me to do it. Hey,
Right.
Ed, can I do this? Or, hey, Fly, I need you to order this because we're going to be doing this. Okay. Well, what's the difference of me ordering all this for the real tide or ordering this for the government of whatever?
Sure.
It's no different.
Yeah.
Jim Lambert, I remember one time I was back when I was buying rental properties and I was a little nervous about something. He goes, Fly, you know what the difference between a $100,000 deal and a $10 million deal is? And I'm like, I've never had one that big. No, Jim. He goes, it's just, it's just zeros. The diligence is the
Yeah. Oh
same.
yeah.
Everything else is the same. It's just zeros.
Yeah.
And when you think about it, what the fuck is a zero?
Yeah.
So he gave me that confidence.
Yeah.
Once you look at it like that, he gave me the confidence.
Yeah.
Okay. And Eddie gave me the leeway. Eddie gave me Eddie was like, listen, I can take care of this. If you want to take care of ordering the parts and ordering the food and when the boys needed tackle, ordering the tackle, they don't, hey, Fly, we need 10 dozen more of these. Okay. Hey, we need another 25-pound spool of this. Okay. Whatever it was, you
Right.
know. So Eddie gave me that leeway, and for that, I'm eternally grateful. You
Yeah.
know, I'm I'm eternally grateful. That's all I'm doing now. It's no different. It's just instead of working for one boat, I'm working for different companies, putting shit
Yeah.
together.
It's interesting to me as I've gotten older. I look back on my apprenticeship with guys that I didn't realize, and one of them that sticks out with me to this day is Tommy Green.
Really.
Yeah. So I went to work for him when I was 17, 18 years old and wrapping rods. That was kind of my first real job, wrapping rods and stuff for him. Back then it was custom rod and gun because he sold guns too. So I used to think to myself, man, you are breaking my balls. You're on my ass. The way you treat customers, you're not nice to them. You charge too much money. All of these things that I'm observing being around it, and I have no idea, right? That's just
Yeah.
young. I'm looking at it. I'm thinking, I would do it a lot different. So, life goes on, and we didn't have a falling out or anything, but I ended up in the Keys in 1986. I opened a shop called World Class Outfitters, and it was more of a fly shop, clothing, that sort of thing. So about 2 or 3 years into it, I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm Tommy Green. I've got, all this inventory. I'm keeping track of, paying invoices and buying stuff and employees and everything else. And I'm just like, I was able to do these things because I saw him do it. And I learned watching him. And now I'm doing it. And I know how to do it because I watched him. And I didn't realize that I would need that information someday. So 1993 comes along, a guy walks in, customer, and one thing leads to another. He buys the shop. Just like ran his mouth about, I'd always wanted a shop like this, and I'd really like to do something someday. And I said, well, Jim, just write a check, and he did. So I sold the store, and I called Tommy Green the next day, and I thanked him for I told him the story, and I
Yeah.
thanked him for the education, and that I was very grateful for what I learned from him in those couple of years, never dreaming of being that guy, having that shop, having the responsibility, doing all that. But you learn business, and you see somebody good at it, which he was really good. Now it all made sense then, and to this day, we're still good friends. I
Yeah.
talk to him, and it's been 50 years, 45 years.
Wow.
So
Wow.
there are things that happen in life that, it all happens for a reason. You don't know. And hopefully you find out later on in life that that's why I was there. That's why this happened. Sometimes you don't, but certainly things happen for a reason.
Definitely when you get older, you look back and it's like, oh, now you realize it. It's like, I needed that to happen to be able to do this right now.
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
uh, I had somebody asking me the other day, because I sit on two fishery boards up in Washington, D.C. Plus, I'm on the board of directors for the Billfish Foundation, and they're like, "Man, you give a lot of time to all these different things." I'm like, when Jim first died, I was 34 years old, 33, 34 years old. And I'll never forget, I was walking in the parking lot of Merritt's and I started talking to Skip Smith. And he was like, looks like you're going to make this a career. He goes, you may want to start looking at giving back, whether you donate some time to seminars or a nonprofit. You're making a living off of this, and it's important that you give back.
Wow.
And I took it to heart, and I might not think about it every day on the forefront of my brain, but I donate a lot of money to the Billfish Foundation to put me on the board of directors. I sit on two fishery boards. I have so many nonprofits that call me up, and I never say no. Uh, I don't want to say no. If I can make it happen, I'm gonna do it.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna do it. And my thing is, I've made a great living off of this sport, and it would be it would be a travesty to not give back. I don't want to just
Sure. Yeah.
and listen, I get to meet some fucking great people doing it. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
Some of my greatest friend, one of my closest friends is Peter Chabanzai, who's going to be the next president of the Billfish Foundation. Uh, I started in business just as he was getting his feet completely under him at the Billfish Foundation. He was 4 years, 5 years into it, uh, and now he's going to be the next president. So I've got great friends that I've built because of the fact that I've given my time
Yeah.
to my sport, and it
Absolutely.
really is. It's important. And I'm watching a lot of other, and I'm calling them young guys, even though they're 40 years old or getting to be 40, where they've made a name for themselves as a captain, and now they're on boards of directors for their local tournaments. I interviewed Brett Gaskell the other day, the captain of the Builder's Choice. He's now on the board of directors for the Big Rock, and I'm watching a lot of young guys doing that same thing, and that's where it reminded me, oh, well, it
Yeah.
was it was Skip Smith that said, "Hey, you're making a living out of this. You may want to look at giving back."
Yeah. And
And it's
and
important.
those guys back then really mentors. Tommy Green, a mentor. George Copeland, mentor. I worked for George, at TNR for years. Um, you know, and these guys, say things like Skip said to you that meant something. You took it to heart. You did something about it
Yeah,
because it's the right thing to do. And certainly they're lucky to have somebody like you with the experience and the travel and the connections and everything else, because we know so many people get on these boards that have little to no knowledge and experience.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And listen, I'm glad I'm able to do it. To
Yeah.
be honest with you, I'm happy to do it, and I think again, it's important that we give back.
It is important.
I've taken plenty, and I want to give back, and I like to help. And I I haven't met him face to face. I got a message on Instagram from this young man. He goes to the University of South Carolina. He uh, he reached out to me. I don't know, 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, thanking me for the podcast. He goes, I'm in college now, and all I want to do is wait till the summertime to go fishing. And
Right.
because of the podcast, you're talking to all these great fishermen. And I'm like, man, I'm happy I can help. Listen,
Right.
I love it because I get to catch up with my friends.
Right.
Really, that's my biggest thing. I get to catch up with my friends, and I can help promote my friends what they're doing. But here's this young kid, however old he is, 21, 22 years old, and he sent me a
That's
message this
awesome.
morning. Again, he's like, "Hey man, some of my friends caught some blue marlins in Charleston this weekend, and it looks like you had a good time in Chubb and this and that." And I'm like, "Hey, aren't your finals coming up?" And he's like, "Yeah, they're this week and next week." I'm like, "Keep me posted. Let me know how you're doing in school." If I
Uh,
walked down the dock, I'd have no clue who the fuck this kid is.
yeah. Yeah.
But this is the giant but. Uh, I had complained on the podcast that I have lost touch with that next generation.
Right.
And now it seems like this is the opportunity that they're reaching out to me, and I want to help them out. Listen,
Right.
here, call this guy, because there's been plenty of people, just like I said, Skip Smith was the one. Hey, I told Eddie Herbert to call you.
Yeah.
He opened the door for me.
Absolutely.
And I want to be able to offer that, to the next generation, if I can do it.
Well, yeah, I tell kids today, a lot of the new guides and everything, you know, you don't know who's on the bow of your boat. And you got to treat that guy like he's number one because he could become 100-year guide. He could become so many things, not all of them, but now, like yourself, myself, you look back and you go, man, these people that I met and the things that developed with your friendship and everything, you know, a lot of times it allows you to become that person. The guy that I fish in the tarpon tournaments for all those years, Azo, guy from Japan. You know, I got really good at tarpon fishing because he would book me 40 days a year.
Wow.
So, because of these guys wanting to do it, their money paying me to take them fishing made me a better guy, made me more competitive. We learned together. Um, you know, just like Jim,
Yeah.
passionate about marlin fishing. Let's go everywhere. I mean, it's scary to think what all of that costs to go do it, but you got a guy that doesn't care. He wants to go do it, and you're with him. And
Yeah.
those are those are the things in life that are priceless, and they come along mostly to everyone who's got a good reputation and is keeping their head on straight. And don't pass it up. Don't overlook it. Don't overthink
Mm.
it. Don't overlook it because those opportunities you may get early in life, you just never know where they're going to go.
That's 100% true. I had that opportunity on the Real Tide, and it was 26 years ago.
Right?
So,
Yeah.
Randy, we're getting on 2 hours. We're over 2 hours. If
Holy
somebody,
cow, you
eh,
talk a lot.
I fucking talk like a motherfucker. If somebody wants to get a hold of you, whether it be charter fishing or your tackle shop, what's the best way to find you?
If my cell phone's the best way to get a hold of me
Don't
always.
put your number on here because next thing you know, you're going to get like 27 women calling you and sending you pictures of their panties. Do you
Oh, yeah,
have,
really don't want that. I'll just call forward it to your phone.
oh no, don't be sending that shit to my phone either. Do you have a website? Do you have an Instagram, a Facebook, anything like that?
Instagram is Randy Towe. I have an Instagram at Islamorada Fishing Outfitters. That's the name of the store. I have that also Facebook. You can go to the website, islamorada.fishing.com. And I'm in the Keys. I'm in Islamorada. I have a store right on the highway, mile marker 90.5. Build custom fishing rods, pretty much now is my main business. I've been guiding 43 years. Now I'm kind of cutting back a little bit on that, going with my friends. Bouncer really kind of set the stage. He retires, and what does he do?
Goes fishing with his friends.
Exactly. So if I was a plumber, I could sell my business and have a bunch of money in the bank. But I'm not. I don't have equity in a business that you can sell, but I have the knowledge, I have the stories, I have the accolades, I have things that people really enjoy seeing when they come into the shop, plus the rods. I'm keeping very busy with that, and I'm grateful. But if you're in the Keys, you're going to drive right by the shop when you come down here.
Perfect. Randy, hold on one second while I sign off here, and then I'll wish you my goodbyes. But I would like to say thank you to you for joining me and joining all of us today. And everybody who's listening, give Captain Randy a follow, and we will check you guys later.